The Ron G Morning Show, every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. only on WSAN Radio, the soul of America. All right, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. You're in for a treat today. I met this lady a while back, and we reconnected again, and we are here. She was on the show, I guess, a couple weeks ago with her son, and the line started blowing up because they liked what she was saying. I had a friend of mine who's got an event coming up. Said I got to have her on my panel. So no, I'm bragging about you, okay? So don't worry about it. I got Patricia Richardson on here, and she got some things going on this weekend. And just to recap, she was talking about financial stuff. The first time around she was on, and she was dead on especially the youth and what they need to do, because a lot of them think they're invincible, and they feel I'll worry about saving next year. I worry about this. I worry about this. But no, you need to do it right now.
Amen.
But she's got something going on, and I'm not gonna steal her thunder. She's got something going on um, about event she's got coming up, and I was just blown away the games that she's doing. So I invited her back on because I want to explain to me how this is going to work. She somewhat said it to me in a little way, but Miss Richardson, I'm gonna let you take over from here and tell everybody about your events coming up and everything.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gordon, for having me again. I appreciate you. You're doing great things for our community, always supporting everyone, and I appreciate you for that. So thank you. Yes, Sunday, January the 11th, 2 p.m. at the Carver Community Culture Center, 226 North Hackberry, over on towards the east side, more closer to Alamo Dome. But yes, I'm super excited um, to have that event. It During this event, yes, thank you for sharing that. I was just about to put it up. During this event, we are going to be learning about money in a fun way. And some of the games like we have on the flyer is Family Feud, Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, Bingo, and the main event is going to be Price is Right. The funny part about it, Mr. Gordon, is most of these children have not even seen Price is Right. Remember, that was something that we watched
Yes.
Young and the Restless, Price is Right, and Jeopardy when we sat next to grandma on the couch. You know, the average grandmom is not that age watching those type of shows anymore because everything's streaming. So I'm
Right.
excited to even introduce them into knowing about Price is Right. One thing, this is God all wrapped up in this event. I didn't get to share that before, but I definitely want to, highlight that. When I decided to talk about finances, what I noticed as I was sitting down with individuals doing some consulting with them, I was some financial coaching. I noticed that they get very frustrated and it gets very intense really fast. I remember you saying on our last interview that your wife takes control. It has to be one person, and that's good. But at the same time, everyone still needs to know the basics and understand where the money's going and how it's coming. But I noticed even when I sat down with my son, when I sat down with adults, they would get frustrated, and before you know it, I'll probably be we'll probably be storming away. So what I decided was, how can I make this fun? Anybody know me? I always want to dance and laugh. So I found that playing games is the best way to make this fun. I used to have this game night called Cash Flow Game Nights, and that's where teach you how to get out the rat race. That's Robert Kiyosaki board game, and they have that for adults and children. But I decided, let me make it more interactive with this event. And so just think about, like I have a sample right here. I want to just get straight into it. One of the games is going to be as simple as needs and wants. So are you able to see these on the screen?
Yes. Let me go ahead and
And be sure to definitely reserve your spot. Space is limited. But just giving you an example, needs and wants, right? So we're going to have this on the table, and you're going to have 30 seconds to pick from a series of things. So would you put vacation as a need or as a want, Mr. Gordon?
Well, I'm old. I would say a need, but it's a it's a want. It's a
Okay,
want.
I'm gonna put it over in your want. What would you say about what would you say about a car?
That's a want.
Okay. And what would you say about going to college?
That's a need.
Okay. And last but not least, what would you say about this water bill?
Oh, that's definitely a need.
Okay, okay. So they're going to have 30 seconds to do that. And the beautiful thing is, it's going to create a conversation because, like you said, the vacation is a want. Some people might feel like it's a need. If I don't get this, I'm going to have a mental breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
Now, financially, we'll talk and say, now, can you truly afford a vacation and your budgeting and so forth? Because, like I talk to people all the time, everybody's not broke. I'm not feeling like I need to be talking just to poor people. People got money. I mean, even in the state of the world now, they said that we still spent a lot during Black Friday.
Yes.
Shocked me. I thought we was protesting a lot of places, but I don't know. But it shocked me, you know. So I feel overall people do have money. They just don't know what to do with the money. Me being a landlord, one of the things that we commonly hear is, oh, it's Christmas time, so I'm a little late on my rent. Who told you to be late on your rent? Like you didn't know Christmas was coming. It's January. So let's start planning for Christmas now. So how do you do that? You have to first learn what is a need? What's a want? What's your expenses? What's your income?
Mm-hmm.
And so through these conversations is what's going to allow you to start to say, I really need to know more about my money. I really need to know about my spending habits. And you're going to know that in a fun way because most people don't want to talk about it.
That's true.
Yeah.
They don't. I want to ask you something. When you said that Black Friday everybody bought things, I'm glad you said that because I looked up something a couple of days ago and they broke it down by what you made a year.
Mm,
It was percentage wise for middle class and lower income didn't spend that much money this year because they couldn't afford things. It was the
mm.
upper that was spending that money that made it look good. And I said, are you kidding me? So I dove into it a little bit more and they were absolutely right that
Mm.
the lower income could not afford all that stuff. And another thing that it couldn't afford because a lot of you retailers was not getting the full inventory because of the tariffs.
Yeah, yeah, that's
But
true.
but it was the upper and the rich folks who went out and spent all this money that made it look good, like we had a great big growth. But if you look at the middle class and lower class, it didn't happen like that.
Oh, wow. Yes, I didn't dive deep into it, but I like that you explained that because that's really good. That's
Yeah.
really that explains it all. I do know that there are, tweaking things to, constantly make us think one thing then the next. But
Mm-hmm.
one of the things I have heard commonly, and you probably heard it, oh, it's Christmas time, so I don't have. And that is one of the things that I feel is the number one things that we need to save for. Christmas time, your endorphins get to going. You want to just go buy people things. I get it. I get into that fever. Probably no. And what happens is I normally say I'm practicing Jehovah Witness around Christmas time, but and it's just a joke. It's just a
Yeah,
joke. No
yeah.
disrespect. But then that's me simply saying I'm not practicing, not celebrating any holidays, preferably Christmas. But I also realized that that fever, that old school tradition comes up in me. Even when I say no, Patricia, you're gonna just spend this amount of money. Before you know it, I'm like, no, I gotta get a gift under the tree, and I need my tree filled under it. Like I want everything because that's how we were raised. Most of us, we didn't know
Mm-hmm.
how our parents did it. Most of us didn't figure out our parents was poor until we got older. Like, oh, you really was poor. I guess
Yeah.
the choices of food that we were eating and so forth. But they made it look so good, and they made it look good by always still celebrating us and buying things during those times. And then we
Mm-hmm.
wonder, then when they go to pass, everybody got to pull some money out their pockets.
Yeah.
So what's the disconnect? So we're passing down traditions that we all enjoy. And I'm not saying don't go buy anything. What I am saying is plan for that. And how do you
Mhm.
plan for that? You have to know your money.
You said back in the days we called it a rainy day fund. and
Mm-hmm.
and now it's called a whole bunch of stuff like emergency funds. And I believe in emergency funds because if something happens, then you can at least cover yourself up to 3 months. That's what they say
Yeah.
to do it for. But if you can do it longer than that, fine. But another thing that we started doing, not only the emergency fund, we got a vacation fund.
Yes.
So we make
Yeah.
sure if we like we know where we're gonna go, so we make sure what we need to put back to make sure we'll be able to do it that won't hurt anything because we will not go into savings to go on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
We will not
Yeah.
do that. That's for something that's coming up. Like we got foundation issues, so that's what that is for. But
Mm-hmm.
we do a separate vacation one, and we plan what we're going to do, and then the money's there. We go ahead, we buy the tickets right then and there, and we're done. But
Wow.
I'm just saying, a lot of people don't have what they could do. Well, I'm up. I'm 70 years old. I 70 years old, so I worked my whole life, and I deserve to have some fun. But
Mm-hmm.
not to break myself where I got to go back to work. But
Mm-hmm.
you got to be careful on what you're doing. You got to plan ahead. And I'm gonna get back to I'm gonna call them youth, but there's youth.
Yeah.
They have to start early in saving for what they want because when people see me and the things that we accomplish, they get jealous. I said, "This is 70 years of me putting things together. What are you mad at? You 25."
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be handed to you. And that's the misconception. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it, everybody.
Say it.
We don't raise some entitled kids that they scared to go to work, scared to do anything. They don't know what it takes to put
Mm-hmm.
in a full day and to work hard.
Yes, yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
I
I
said
agree.
it.
And I guess what I'll piggyback off of that and high five you while you said it because just for example, even though I'm raising a unicorn, it's a struggle. It's a struggle. Most of us have already been wanting to drive maybe probably about 14, maybe even sooner. Here in Texas, they can get their driver's license at 15. They are so entitled and so spoiled by us. I mean, it's almost like they almost think like, what you mean you're not going to pick me up? What you mean that you're not going to do? And you're looking at them like, what you mean that you think that I'm supposed to do that? You better get on that big yellow bus. You better use those good old legs with those sneakers I brought you, and go ahead and do that. And parents, we have to be strict on them. I literally had to push my son to get his driver's license. And then now he got his driver's license. Guess who think they're supposed to just get in my car and drive it? It was so funny. Now he's immediately thinking that he should not be walking or going to the bus stop. And I said, who
Hmm.
told you that? Who told you that? So in our kids' mind, ladies and fellas and dads and moms and aunties and uncles, I think it's truly a disconnect. Like it's truly a disconnect. And I think for us too, parents, we gotta take ownership. We need to knock it into the head, not physically, right? But meaning just continuing to talk to them,
Hmm.
continuing to stress to them the importance of, hey, first and foremost, tomorrow's not promised. I might not be here. Tell me which family member that you think is going to do all those things that I'm doing for you. Taking you to school, picking you up, you ready to
Hmm.
go to a friend's house, taking you to all these sports games. Name one family member that you think, if I die tomorrow, that's going to come and do all of that. So
Yep.
now they can't think of anybody right this moment. And they might do it the first week or two, but trust me. And I started giving them examples. Like, look, when have you heard from this person? Look, when you have heard from that person. It's not that any
Hmm.
of my friends and families would not jump in and help as much as they can, but they will never do it like mom and dad.
That's
So you
right.
need to take ownership of yourself. And these are those skills that we have to give them early. You can't tell a kid to be an adult at 18. You have to show them how to be an adult leading up to age 18. Like you just mentioned about investing, the knowledge that we need to give our children is if you start understanding savings, you start understanding putting money up, you can make your money work for you. One of those ways is when our children get their jobs, their first jobs, or their jobs definitely out of high school and so forth, we should already be beaten down in their head that they need to understand about compound interest. Do you know that if they just start investing $100 a month, $100 a month, and most of us parents probably already give them that, $100 a month, they invest that. If they did that up to age 28, let's just say they started at age 20. If they did that to age 28, they won't even technically have to invest anymore. That money that they invested from that compound interest will already give them what me and you, if we started at 40 trying to catch up, they'll still surpass us because of
Hmm.
how interest works. Now, I don't know about you, Mr. Gordon, but I really wish that somebody would have really sat me down and told me those things. Because here I am now at 48 years old and I'm trucking. Like I feel like I've had to start over and I've had to do more things now. And to know that if I only knew some of these things, I would be in such a better place. I would be in such a better place far as investing, far as um far as just being able to have that safety net. Most of us do not want to continue to work. And we, if anything, we don't want to work hard. It's one thing to retire like how you did and then start doing something that you enjoy. And there's another thing when you literally have to work to continue to pay your bills.
Yeah.
And the rent is going to continue to go up. I just went to an event and the mayor was just speaking about that's why she's trying to continue to get money into the city for affordable housing because you have to pay attention to the job market and how things are.
Hmm.
So prices are raising up. You're trying to raise your education up, your mindset or your gifts up. In the meantime, starting to learn how to have your money work for you so that can grow as you grow.
And, I agree with you on that. I'm going to go back to you because you said something that triggered something in my mind on basically how you had to start over again because you didn't know
You know?
the financial part of it. So, my question to you is this: when you realize what you didn't do, how did that impact you to move forward?
I definitely started to educate. I used to cry out. I used to literally cry out. I wish somebody told me. Like I used to, I had several emotions going on. I used to envy people who I saw that their parents were talking to them about it. Because you'll talk, everyone has that friend that you'll talk to them about something and they'll be like, "You don't have a savings account?" And you'll be like, "No, I didn't have a savings account." And then you'll turn to them and say, "How did you know?" And they'll be like, "My dad." Like just thinking like, how like, what? You didn't know? Like my dad or something, or my
Hmm.
auntie. And so I used to feel, and that's just an example, but I used to feel like, how did you know how to invest? That was one of my things that I always felt like was so secret. It was a secret society. No one around me was talking about stocks. No one in my home, no one outside of my home. And I wouldn't say so much I grew up in the hood, so to speak. I'm from New Jersey, so how the city is built and set up, um, you know, sometimes it doesn't feel like the hood. I wasn't in the projects. I was in a small street with like we lived in a home, we lived in a house and so forth. But at the end of the day, my the home is not with our family anymore. The city ended up getting it. No one knew how to pay the taxes. That got taken away. I really would have loved my childhood home to actually even rent it or just even have it for the family. So that's gone. And my great aunt did everything to try to keep that house together. Um, and so, but to go back to one of the things that I felt that I never knew of was the stocks. So I used to pray to God and say, "God, please bring somebody in my life that can teach me this." And so I noticed that I would go around and men would talk more about this, not women. Women would talk about our hair, would talk about where we got our shoes from, but men, they'll like maybe talk about, "Hey, I like your car," but then before you know it, they'll start talking about some stocks or an investment or how they can collaborate. And I was just wondering, why aren't women talking about this as much? And so that's when I started to just say, you know what, if I can't find it, let me create it. So when I started looking on YouTube, which I do like social media, I started following the EYL guys on YouTube, and then they started to talk Ian and so forth, and they used to start talking about Market Mondays. That's what it's called, and they'll talk about stocks and so forth, and they'll share their picks, and that was the main
Mm.
thing. Like, okay, so they'll share their picks. So then that's when he'll tell me two tech, two index, and then he'll start to talk about the the ticklers and so forth, and then how you should research it. And again, it's just like losing weight, right? When it's time to go to the gym, you really like, you're kind of intimidated initially, because do you work your back? Do you work your shoulders together? Like, what sets do you do together? How does it work? So I'm giving that analogy to kind of, that's how stocks can be. But the more that you learn, the more that you go in, the more that you study, the comfortable you understand that, you know what, let me do abs today. I can do my arms mixed with my abs. So I'm sharing that, those two pieces together, because still a lot of us adults are still afraid to talk about stocks and bonds and mutual funds,
Yes.
because we tend to think that that's gambling. But I know for a fact my family will go buy lottery ticket in the New York Minute. My mom is big on pick four, pick six. She tells me all of that. Okay, that's what she taught me. She taught me about that. Good thing I'm not a lottery person. I only play when it's the $1 billion, um, um, pots. But for the most part, that's what I started to do. I really just, to answer your question in the short version, I really just took to the internet, because I still wasn't able to find it. And then I started going up to people and asking them, are you invested in stocks? And then they'll say yes, and some will say no. And then the ones that say yes, I'll say, can you share what you're invested in? And I understand why most people, because again, you should need to go do your own research. That's all the
Right.
different things you say, because everybody want to sue everybody. I'm not telling you go invest in any particulars. But this is something that I really wanted to know. And so just reading books, um, Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. I love that book. Definitely a few other books. EYL have their book as well. And so I just started to, The Psychology of Money. I started to read those books. And I'll be happy to share you a list of some of the books that I read so you can share with the audience. But I like those books, and those books is what got me going. And then just continuing to have the conversation, because even though I'm talking about it, I didn't jump out the window and start investing, because the first thing, like you said, Mr. Gordon, you have to build an emergency fund.
Mm-hmm.
You have to build an emergency fund first before you go invest. You should never invest in anything if you don't already have an emergency fund. And why do you need an emergency fund? And to add on to what you were saying, it used to be 3 months. Now it should be 6 to 8 months, because it takes about that time to get a good job
Yeah.
or get back to working. So, or at least maybe to try to get you back to close to the salary that you lost.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I got laid off from Catholic Charities, we're working with the refugee families, because in February 27th, remember that day, just like yesterday, you never forget those dates. And when I got laid off, um, then I wasn't, I think when I was watching everybody in the room, they brought like all, I think 80 of us in the room to let us know that we were getting laid off and let go. And I saw a lot of sad faces. And I know
Mm.
why, because they didn't have any savings. They wasn't prepared. And you have to save, you have to be comfortable. You have to
Yeah.
save, at least at the end of the day, at least save your rent, the car note or whatever you have to get you around, and your electric bill. Everything else you can pretty much work around. And so whatever that totals up to, then you want to save that at least up to 6 months, to 6 to 8 months. But
Yeah.
if you haven't even started, just get started. Just try to start something, because something is better than nothing. I rather you call me and say my rent is 800. I just got laid off. I have 500. I need 300. I rather you tell me you need 300 and tell me, instead of telling me you need the whole
Oh,
800,
and
because you're
yeah.
gonna need the 800 for the next month too. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going. So then, therefore, I'm not going to help you.
So, two things. First one, most of the parents nowadays are enablers.
Hmm.
The reason why I'm saying that is when we were growing up, we were taught, and when we were in school, we had
Hmm.
to take, I don't know what it was called, but we learned how to balance a checkbook. We learned how to do all that in high school. And so I see the parents what they're saying. We don't want our kid to struggle like we struggled. You know what? I hate to be mean, But yeah, they need to struggle to know what it's about. But if you're
And
gonna
that's right.
give them everything, that's why we enable them. And here we are right now. Because you look at your grandmother, your grandmother, your grandmother, you look all the way down the line, they all struggled to be better.
Yeah.
Yes, we want our kids to be better. But if
Yes.
we enable them to sit back and don't do nothing, they're going to think that's the norm. And what's going
Yeah.
to happen? They're going to have kids the same thing. So we're losing what we used to do back in the days to make sure that we were taken care of. Now we look at other people to take care of us instead of taking care of ourselves.
Yes. 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 You know what, Mr. Gordon? You know why that's so hard today is because when you do that, like say you're the one parent that's being hard on your kid to try to get them to struggle, you know who judges you first? Another parent.
Hmm.
Another parent judges another parent. And that's the that so most of the time parents are doing something because they don't want to hear what the other person has to say. Sometimes that's being the teacher, sometimes that's being a mentor, sometimes that's being your neighbor. Like for example, I judge, right? If anybody's gonna be judging, I judge on why is that mom outside cleaning up those leaves while that kid in the house
Playing video games.
playing video games. Now, if that's you on here, stop that. That's where it starts. When
Hmm.
Mr. Gordon is saying, make your kids struggle, that's where it starts. Yes, our kids are going to benefit from our fruit of our labor. Okay,
Hmm.
we're not going to go throw our kids in the hood to make them struggle and go through things because we already understand. I'll say it for you, parents. The book is different. It's being thrown even harder. Remember back in the day, Mr. Gordon would go run. Maybe we even threw a rock at a car and bust their window. Okay, back then our parents can go across the street, talk to them, and the cops will say, okay, we'll work this out amongst each other.
Hmm.
Now, don't nobody want to talk to each other. I'm suing you. You owe me everything, and I want your child locked up for 5 years.
Yeah.
So I understand where parents are on one end, but that ain't the excuse to stay there. Like you're saying, Mr. Gordon, you still need to make sure your kid, you know how to make things uncomfortable for your children.
Hmm.
You have to do that. That is considered work. So yes, parents, parenting is work. Yes, yes, it's work. Some of the things that I see them doing, they do not want to parent their kids in the stores. I was so
Hmm.
happy when I was in the store one day and the parent, she did not just give her kid a phone when her kid started acting up. She said, "You better stop it. You better stop it." She talked to the kid nicely. And I listened to her and I know why she was doing it. She probably was feeling some type of way because me being an ex CPS worker, you're always worried about, is there somebody over here that, more worried about gentle parenting where I'm more of a non-gentle parent, and so therefore I'm concerned about you judging me about how I'm parenting or how my kid is acting right now. So they go through all of these things, but you're still pushing. And that mother, I could tell she must have been pinching them or something because she was just like, get your act together. And I turned to her and I said, I'm so proud of you that you did not give in to your kid.
Hmm. You
And
know
I
what
could
I
see it warmed her up.
You know what I like? I don't mean to bring race in it, but I'm gonna bring it in anyway. That a black woman could turn around and look at that kid and don't say a word, and he will sit his butt down because he know the consequences. That
Hmm.
look, it's that look that you
Yeah.
give them. And I was a single parent. I developed that look at my kids. I didn't have to say anything. They just knew, oh, I better stop what I'm doing because dad don't like that, what I'm doing. Because,
Hmm.
it isn't like somebody asked me one day, years ago, your kids are so respectful and everything. I bet you had a beat on them to be like that. I said, nope. They follow the example. They watch me what I do, and I expect the same thing. And and
Hmm.
and and they knew that. Like I said, I didn't have to really spank my kids all the time. All I do is just give
Hmm.
them that look, and that's it. And
Hmm.
and and that look lasted weeks because they know they didn't want it again. But see, those are some of the things I think is a lack of respect for the
Yeah.
kids to the parents, and
Yes.
when you lose that respect, then you might as well forget it because the kid is gonna be hard to get that respect back.
Hmm. I agree. But you know what too? See, when I want to get on all the kids, I have to get on the parents. As a parent educator, I'm gonna get on you parents. I'm not here to be your favorite. I'm just here to tell you the
Hmm.
truth. It has to start early. You can't do that
Yes.
at 13. Think you're gonna have a
Mm-mm.
look at 13? They're gonna look back at you with the same look.
I look harder than you.
And then they're gonna put their clocky and they little, whatever they do, that's really gonna make you want to lose it. No, it starts early. Stop laughing at some of these things that your children do that they shouldn't,
Hmm.
that is very disrespectful at an early age. It's okay to put them on timeout. It's okay
Right.
to stop to your children so many times. I don't think you should have to tell your children 5,000 times to do something. No. If that's the
No.
case, take something away. Me and Mr. Gordon are not saying beat your children all day long until they ain't got no skin on their body. Go get a switch. I'm not even telling you to go get a switch, a extension cord, or a shoe. I'm actually telling you to stick to the threat. If you said
Hmm.
that you're going to take something away, stick to it. I literally take on Wi-Fi boxes. I will unplug that real quick. That's how you get teenagers. You
Get
want
their
them to do
attention.
right? Take the Wi-Fi off. You can your phone can still use the Wi-Fi. That's
Hmm.
I understand. That's the part about parenting. When you're punishing children, you're punishing you. It feels like a punishment to yourself. But guess what? What you're also doing is creating and stopping something that is going to get worse later. Because trust me, it does. And then y'all call the cops and expect for the
Hmm.
cop so gentle on your children while you let all this happen all the way up into that age. So I would strongly encourage you. It does start with us, and it
Yeah.
starts as early as they start to challenge you. It starts as early as they start to challenge you. Some could be 9 months, some could be a month, a year.
Hmm.
They're not challenging you at a month. They just cute. But I watch it with my grandbabies, and and I got grandmoms on here right now that it's hard for us. We can't even tell our grandkids something. They parents is even more enablers. You're trying to tell them that that's not what you should be doing with the
Hmm.
grandbaby, and they like, oh, mom, you don't know. And boom, then now you know. So overall, all of these things come down to you got to continue to educate. You always have to teach. It's not, oh, the kids are in school and they're going to learn everything there. They're not learning everything there. And to go back to your point about checkbooks and balancing checkbooks, once we came out with this plastic,
Oh.
even adults are not balancing.
Hmm.
They're relying on their let me go check my balance on the bank.
Hmm.
you know, in such a world where cybersecurity is about to be at, scamming is at its all-time high. And guess what? When China and all those people want to get back at us, they're not going to come over here and shoot us. I don't think they're going to turn off the lights. They're going to turn off. They're going to start to scam us. They're going to take your money. They're going to do those
Hmm.
things. So what do you need to do? So one tip I like to share on here that I'll be sharing at the event. Some people frown upon credit card. They tend to think, well, don't get a credit card, that's debt. Most people debt is medical bills
Mm.
and school, colleges.
Yeah.
Your education. That's what most people debts are. If you really realize that if you use your credit card, Capital One is my friend. Capital One would tell on my son. They would tell me, oh, they'll be like, somebody's duplicating your thing. Check this out. You want me to pause it or you want me to hold it? I think that is a great relationship. That is the best person
Hmm.
that I can have in my life right now. So I use my credit card for everything. And then mainly the main things, my gas, of course you can't pay your rent with the credit card and so forth, but your gas, your groceries, all of those things I use with my credit card. I go out to eat. Maybe you forgot to write in the receipt thing. People would write that change. There's evil people out here. They would change and say that you gave them $100 tip
Yeah.
because most people don't know what tip number to put there. So they kind of just leave it like, blank, i.e. men do it a lot for sure. And then they just sign their name. So then now you haven't even checked your account. Guess who's not going to fight hard for you? Your banks,
Yeah.
your security services, all the ones that we love so much. They're not going to fight as hard as Capital One. Capital One going to shut it down along with other credit cards. And then here is the caveat with it. Once you use your credit card, and again, I'm telling you, use a credit card for things that you already gonna pay off. So you're already planning to buy your gas because you know you need that. You're already planning to buy your food, so you know you need that. So you're still gonna take that same money. You're not gonna spend it, spend your credit card and spend that extra money. You're gonna take that money and pay the credit card off really fast. That helps build your credit. That also helps get points, reward points, going to the airport. I used to feel all the time like flying travel rewards, all of these things. I used to feel white people are like so rich. You just feel like that, right? You seem like they're going everywhere. And if you would think that they're paying full price. When you get up there and you notice that they're only paying $20 or they getting that room for free because they understand the system. Why didn't
Mm-hmm.
someone tell me? I grew up with a family that no, you gotta own this, you gotta pay everything off, you have to do all of these things. No, I'm not using those credit cards. And I was just wondering why. Like why was I never taught that? Now I
Yeah.
understand that back in their day, things wasn't as easy for them as it is for us. So that's what makes me want to do this even more because some of our ancestors, they had true challenges. Like, I mean, even if they had it all together, they still didn't have the rights to be able to move forward with those things. We have the rights. Now what's our excuse?
At that point right there, there's no excuse. So, I agree with you 110% on that about the kids and all this stuff going on. So let's go ahead and recap what you got
Yes,
going on
yes.
Sunday. Now, I
So
do want to say this. When you said Price is Right, I remember one line on Price is Right, and I'm going to use your name. Patricia
okay.
Richardson, come on down. It's going to be like that?
It'll be like that. But I have hosts, I have an announcer. I mean, when I tell you, you're gonna feel like Price is Right. God had put in my spirit with my creativeness. I've created these games. We're gonna play Punch in a Bunch. We're gonna play It's in the Bag. We're gonna play Cover Up, and we're gonna play the bargain games. Go back, look at Price is Right on YouTube if y'all don't remember these games. Trust
Yeah.
me, I've been looking at them all month now since I've been planning it, but I'm excited about that. So what's going to happen is you're going to walk in at 2 o'clock. Please come on time. Space is limited, so please come. I prefer ages 13 and up because I feel like they'll be able to retain and engage with it. With what's going on with the event. But I do want to let you know if your child is younger and they're mature and well behaved, bring them. I just felt like I had to put somewhat of an age so people won't be bringing their babies
Right.
because we don't have a daycare. Okay, we don't have the daycare there. So so yeah, when you come in, you're going to walk around, and when you're walking around, you're going to play Family Feud. So we have questions such as um, name three things that you need to have in order to open up a bank account. And so we're going to play those type of games. Then at 2:45, we're going to start to get ready. Once you come in, you sign up if you're interested in Price is Right. And we're going to have some awesome prizes. I got a bunch of stuff off a TikTok shop. McDonald's is partner with us. They gave us some free meal coupons. Starbucks is giving us some mochas because, of course, we're having our first quarter zip meet up there. That's when you wear the sweaters with the zipper. That's the quarter. And I like
Mm-hmm.
that trend. I'll explain that in a second for the people who don't know about it. And then we're going to get ready. Our host is going to be up there. We have Andre and we have Light Walker. Andre has experience with working with CPS and all the other TV stations. He just came from California. He's been here in San Antonio for 4 months. He's going to be awesome. Light Walker, she's well known doing many events here in San Antonio. She's the woman with blue hair. You probably saw her around, but she is just with so much energy. And then I have the announcer. Her name is Tony. And guess what? She was once a contestant on Price is Right.
Oh,
She got
wow.
all the way up to bitten twice. She got into one of those situations where the person she said 500 and the person say 501 and the person that won got the 501 beer. So
Wow.
that's where. have. And so then the show's going to start at 3 o'clock. Then we're going to start to call down our contestants, and then the contestants going to, and it's going to be just like Price is Right. We're going to bring out this item, they bid on it, then you win. And so what made me love this game for this event is because when we talk about financial literacy and generational wealth, and when I talk about my true passion of sharing information, Price is Right is that one game that you continue to show support while somebody else is one person up there trying to win. The
Right.
whole crowd is like, so what's the price of this car? And then the person could turn to the crowd, and the crowd is like, 4, 2. They're not throwing out wrong numbers. They trying to get the person to win.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that beautiful? And I thought that was the perfect game to talk and drive home the key takeaway. Let's share information. Let's continue to help push each other forward.
Exactly.
That's the one way that we can help ourselves in this economy. There is going to be a difference they're going to draw that line between poor and rich. So the best way to get to rich is to learn about money, to learn about tips and tools on how to manage your money, keep your money, invest your money, grow your money. These are all these tips, and these tips are in so many ways. One example that I forgot to mention is the services that are going to be there. We're going to have some tables such as Project Quest, who I work for. Project Quest pays for people's education.
Mm.
Project Quest has been around for 33 years, educating, helping educate helping educate and increase people's salary up to 200%. A lot of people that come to Project Quest was making probably about $8 to $10 an hour. They are now making 30, 20, $20 to 35, $45 an hour. We have a big nursing unit. Nurses and we're partnered with so many different hospitals here in San Antonio. I mean, if you go to most of the nurses, and they probably ask them, do they know about Project Quest? And they'll be like, sure do.
Mm.
Because if you get a nursing degree, it's pretty costly, right? But we help with $12,000 towards that. Who doesn't need
Wow.
$12,000 added to a bill that was 30,000? So if it was 30,000 for me to go through this program, I'm just throwing out some numbers because each program has a different price depending on what school you go to. We send people to Galen, we send people to Alamo, we send people to all different schools around. Right now, I'm under my career path that I'm covering right now.
Uh-oh, she froze on me. So we'll see. Let me see here. Yep, she froze on us. All right, she's gonna probably log back in again. You heard it. She got all these things going on. Let me share that screen for you again, so you can see.
Okay, we're back.
Okay, I was just saying, let me share this screen while you was out gallivanting.
Okay, great, 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 great.
Okay.
Yeah. And sorry, so Project Quest is one of the people, and I'm just excited about them because I wish I would have known about them. And, so they can help me with my education. And then I'm also going to have Mutual of Omaha there. That's life insurance. That's where wealth starts.
Yes.
A lot of people need to understand they need to have life insurance. And you can build off of life insurance. You can be your own bank. So Allison, I have the pleasure of pairing with Allison, and she's with Mutual of Omaha, and she's a wonderful woman, very knowledgeable. She was on my financial literacy class that I have every third Tuesday of the month via Zoom, and the wealth of knowledge. I can't wait to have her on there again. New year, guys. Everybody's saying new year, new me. A lot of people remember y'all were very sad during the holidays for some loved ones that you lost and so
Right.
forth. And a lot of that, you can never take, that grief away. I'm not saying money, but you definitely being prepared can help you grieve a little bit better. A lot of people can't even grieve because they're still trying to figure out how they're going to pay this, how they're going to pay that, how they're going to pay this.
Yeah.
Who needs that type of stress?
Yeah, that's
And that
so
stress is
true.
avoidable if you learn financial literacy and all the things that surround that. So The Financial Literacy Summit is January 11th from 2 to 5. Please come on time. And there's going to be some awesome giveaways. I plan, if you like this and y'all like it so much, I will have another one. I will have these every quarter if I have to. Whatever we need to do to get it to sink into our heads, because if we get more comfortable with talking about it with each other, then our children will overhear us and we'll get comfortable talking to our children about it.
Yes.
The same
That
way you went out there, your son. I like that story when you say you took your son out with you being with you're a plumber, right? A certified plumber.
electrician.
Electrician. And so
Yeah.
when you went out there, he said, no, I don't want that type of work, but he still remembers, the work that you had to do, all the things that it takes for an electrician, to have to do to make the electric run in the home and so forth. So he still understand it. He still understand pieces of it. So just because he's around you, he knows that. Now you talk about sockets and so forth. So if we talking
Hmm.
more about nonsense stuff, then our kids are going to suck in. That's what's going to sink in their head, nonsense. But if
Yeah.
we want to talk to them about finances and all those different things, then that will sink in. And that's what we want them to sink in so they can pass it on. So
Exactly.
I like to continue to thank you so much for me using this platform to highlight this event. I'm so excited from the games, from the questions, my whole team that's involved. They're super excited. They're invested. And as they were playing, as we were doing the mock playing of the games and the run through of the games, doing
Hmm.
rehearsal, they were super excited. It was so much fun just with us five. So I can imagine how much fun it's going to be with us 150 people there.
Now, I do want to get you back on next week because I want to know what happened. I'm gonna try to make it, because I'll be out. I'm doing something. I'm gonna try to make it. I'm gonna do my best. But if not, I do want you back on next week so you could tell us
Oh,
how
yes.
how everything went and what is your next plan. Because I know you got another plan. I don't need you. I already know you got something up your sleeve. So, but I will also reach out to you if you need me for anything. Just let me know, and I'm there to contribute whatever I can to help your cause out.
Yes, definitely. I can't wait to come back with the information. We're going to have surveys. So I'm going to read what they said. It's not even just going to be my word. And I'm actually hoping I'm going to
I
read what they
like
said.
that. Forget. I'm just going to say I was there. I seen the whole thing.
Because if anybody know me, I am real, I'm direct. I come from the most simplest way. I'm not going to even come all these big words or anything. I come right down to the baby's eyesight. Like, okay, where are you? You want to save a quarter? I gave you $1. Can you give me at least a quarter? And now you go pay with 75 cents.
There you go. There you go. I just text you some information where I'm gonna be at this weekend for Dream Week.
Awesome.
If you could make it, that'd be nice. I got two. I'm on two panels.
Okay.
On the same day. I'm doing two events on Saturday and Sunday. I mean, on
Hmm.
Saturday, two on Saturday.
Okay.
Actually, it might be three because somebody hit me up not too long ago about me coming somewhere. And then a Sunday, I don't know. This is going, but I'm enjoying it though. But my
Hmm.
best part of Thursday was meeting you and your son.
Oh, thank.
You saw me before I saw you. And it was nice to see you in person and
Yeah.
everything. And I introduced you to Penny Owens,
Hmm.
and I think we got a lot of collaborations that we're gonna do
Oh,
among each other because I feel the energy and I feel that we could accomplish a lot by working together.
I totally agree. I there's no I in team, and I really do enjoy working as a team. I can work really well as an individual all day, but I am great working as a team, and I love to share information. And yes, to all your viewers, please stay tuned to what Mr. Gordon has going. He's out there in this community. People are reaching out to him. It is a wealth of information out there, and it's money out here in San Antonio. San Antonio is growing. I originally came from New Jersey, and I came over to the Converse area and just just driving from Converse to Austin, the way people tell me it just used to be nothing but trees and grass. You see all the things, you see all these highways.
Mm-hmm.
You see
Yeah.
all these high. I know y'all get mad about traffic, but think about those highways. What do you think they driving those highways, building these highways for? So there's money out here. There's collaboration. There's things to do in all spectrum. You don't just have to go clubbing. And on WSA Radio, Mr. Gordon and Sharon and their team, they are always sharing that information. So stay tuned in. Stay connected to good people. Please support his station. Please, 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 because we need you.
Okay, we appreciate that. And for that, you have a blessed weekend because right now I'm going to run to the grocery store, get back here. I got a grandkid's birthday
Okay.
party tonight. So then I'm busy. So I really do appreciate you taking the time out and
Sure.
getting on here. You know, that means a lot for you. Take things out your busy schedule, but everything you got going on, I applaud you for everything that you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week. I can't wait to tell you.
Okay. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye. Thank you for tuning in to WSAN Radio. Catch us on our YouTube channel, WSAN Radio SA. Subscribe to our channel and hit that notification button.